Is that donut on my face? Might be. Alright, so we are in the AMG GTS, and I'm looking forward to taking this car to a track event at Barber, but there's some couple things I want to do to it first. One, the tire pressure on this car, because it was delivered, is way jacked up. One thing that is like you learn how important tire pressure is I used to mountain bike a lot, and that teaches you a lot about, you know, having the right tire pressure. And then going on to dirt bikes, tire pressure is huge in that. And then getting on the track, you know, on a 200 horsepower Ducati, tires on the track are like, tire pressure on the track on a motorcycle is incredibly important. And it's got to be just as important with a car, except for when you fuck up on a car, you're not going to, you know, potentially slip out and slide into a wall or something. At least you're inside something. So one thing I notice about this car, it should be handling a lot better than it handles. And that's only because I kind of push it on some turns to kind of get the front to bump forward a little bit. So I know that the tire pressure is way high. It's like 40 in the back, 39 in the front. It needs to come way down. The guy, whoever had this car, put these little, the cheesy little stick-on extended paddle shifter. They make your paddles bigger. The AMG GTS, you know, the AMGs have these smaller paddles, which they're great. They're stock. That's what it comes with. That's what works good. And then someone put these little, like the little 3M stick-on the back. I don't like it. It's kind of tacky. The wheels are on the car. They look good, but I prefer the stock center lock look wheels. I prefer to have the car in stock trim. Now, one thing I don't mind is the stance of the car. The stance of the car, it sits really well. The tires sit really nice under the car. I think it might have some Rentec coilovers on it, because it sits a lot lower than the last one I had. So that's totally fine. But one thing I'm going to do before we go to the main track at Barber Motorsports is go to the autocross. So there's an autocross event that they do, and you know, you just do cones and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that and then get rid of this tint. The tint on these windows is really dark, so I'm going to take that off. What's another thing? It has a little wing on it. Eventually, the APR makes a pretty sick wing that goes back. It kind of gives you that GT3 look. In the future, though, I'd like to have, I'd like to fabricate a rear diffuser for the car. I'd like to just weld one, just like using some aluminum, like real light aluminum. And then I'd like to make a front diffuser with the supports that you can put in there. I have all the tools to do this stuff, so front and rear diffuser, maybe a different wing, stock wheels, kind of get rid of some of the stuff on it. But the car has some nice stuff on it. It came with some Zach is the name, Zach Performance carbon fiber intakes, charge pipes, whatever you want to call them, down pipes, stage 2 tune. It's like a DME tune. I think it's like 675 torque, 7 horsepower, or right around there. The turbo, it has a little turbo blanket on it to keep things a little cooler. Oh, and then it has a flex fuel tune. So the car, and it has really good tires. So I'm excited to take this car to Barber. And I mean, the reason I got this is not really so much to enjoy it on the street, but really get into trying to be more interested in track stuff. Honestly, I was going to buy another V4 and start doing track days again, or I was going to get a car and start doing track days. So this is what we have, and it is a sweet piece of engineering. It needs a detail. You can see this red seatbelt doesn't look so red. It needs to be cleaned, or I'll probably steam clean it, or do something to make it look shinier again. I love how this has like the auto start stop. It cuts off the fuel, which is totally unnecessary, I feel like, for this car, but it has it. But anyways, yeah, first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna park next to my truck, get my manual tire pressure gauge. I like the manual one as opposed to the digital. The nice digital ones work well, but I just like the manual one. And then I am going to go ahead and fix this tire pressure. Believe it or not, even on the street, that's gonna make a big difference. We went from 41 to 38. On that one, we went from 38 to 35. $38, $35. So we're just gonna repeat for the other side. So one thing I was doing was just checking my brake pads, because I know they're going to check them at tech anyways, for me to be able to drive. So I know with bikes you needed to have a water wetter in your tank, and then a belly pan, and you needed to have several different caps for your oils and fluids. Usually you can drill them out and do a little safety wire through them, or either put some like RVT on them. As far as car tech, I'm not sure of everything that they're gonna check, but I'm just kind of using common sense on this one. They're gonna look at brake pads. They're gonna make sure there's no brake fluid or anything leaking on your calipers probably. They're gonna check your tires, I assume, which these tires should be pretty good. This is gonna be my first time out there, so I imagine these are going to be pretty good tires. These Michelins, they're soft tires, you can tell, because they got some stickiness to them. They're not like the Pilot, like Sport Cup 2s, but they're just Michelin Pilot Sport S. So we'll see, but I imagine that they're going to do really well. I was looking under here and I noticed one area too is like I have plenty of room to be able to mess with my diffuser application however I want to put it up under here, but I imagine I'll keep this on. I'll keep this stock on, and I'll do something that comes out with some fins on it, and just look at what kind of mounts I have to work with. And if I can get someone to help me with a sheet of carbon fiber, I will. I'm not really good at the whole like vacuuming, doing those carbon fiber molds, although I love watching the guys on YouTube do it. It's really impressive. Looks really tough, but it'll be nothing to do some aluminum and just TIG some aluminum together and make a diffuser. And that's how a lot of those track guys do it. Like, they'll make their own stuff, or they'll have someone make it for them, because you see a lot of stuff that looks really good and you can't find it on the internet, and that's because they made it. They had someone make it for them for the track. So anyways, that's pretty much my thought on tire pressure. I know it's really important. I'm sure a lot of people have these cars or McLarens and supercars and they don't think anything about tire pressure, but yeah, this should cut down major on the understeer, because those fronts were inflated and this rear was inflated major. So now that the tires can actually have some flex, I imagine it's going to take off a lot better and turn a lot better.